But it does look like that school might have moved on after that. Shit. I thought I felt something. Alright, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, whatever you want to call yourselves, we are back. We are down the port, Combsley boat ramp to be more specific. We've got a bit of an afternoon run out tide, a bit of a northeasterly blowing, and some favourable conditions to go out and hopefully catch a jewfish, where at the time of filming, a couple of nights after the full moon, as I said, run out tide, hopefully low is probably around that 5-6 o'clock. And the potential is ever there for catching some jewies, mulloway, whatever you want to call it. We are in peak snapper close season, so obviously they're going back, and I am not intentionally coming out here to catch snapper or squire or whatever you choose to call them. So enough rambling, let's get into it. We're going to go fish a couple of different structures and do some drifts, hopefully catch a feed of jewies. So let's get into it. Well, there we go. We weren't recording. I should have hit record, but I didn't. It was unexpected. Oh man, terrible lighting. Wasn't expecting much on that turn of the tide side. Sort of switched the cameras off there for a little bit, just to try and conserve some battery life, because I'm going to be out here for a few hours, but I should have left them running. We have picked up a little Brembo, nothing super special, you know, nothing massively special or anything like that. Just gone and smeared the lens a little bit, but yeah, he's come on the stees. See, soft shell, he's actually pinned it on the trebles, which is good. Just flicking this little dock that we got here in the background, so might leave the cameras roll for a bit, but there he is. He's not massive by any stretch, but it's a start and we're doing all right. All right, mate. Thanks for coming. I probably would have done the same thing. Absolutely splashed me. Spritzed me. Spritzed me. All right. I'm hoping that that's the, what would you call it? The things to come. It's structure. There's always going to be fish around structure, so let's get back into it. Let's hopefully catch something a bit bigger. Alright, we're basically just, you know, let me get the sunlight on my beautiful face. We're basically just working our way all the way out to the mouth, doing drifts in various locations, some familiar, some unfamiliar. I want to catch a dewy or two for a feed. So a lot of these locations, you're going to get obvious bycatch and stuff like that, but there is an incredibly good chance of getting a jewfish as well. So we're going to give them a chance, and then hopefully wind up down the end of the terminals as well. Maybe for a big dewy, maybe even thready. We'll see how we go. But yeah, the tide's just getting to the sweet spot. So basically what I've tried to do with this session is do a little bit of exploration on that top of the tide, and then failing that, come back to a lot more familiar spots on that last of the run out that I know I'm going to have a little bit more success with. And two, I haven't been on the water for about 4 weeks, so it's a case of trying to find out where bait is, where fish life is, trying to work out too drift speeds, all that sort of stuff. The current's not overly strong, which may make things tough, but then you may also find that fish will be heavily localized in those spots where the current is strong. So it's all up in the air. It's fishing at the end of the day, but we're going to persist. Obviously the last fish was probably about 2 hours ago, so getting a little bit desperate, but can't always win. So let's keep going, and let's get back into it. Try and get out the other side of this marker. Because basically, if you know where we are, we're out the opposite side of the we're on the opposite side of the river from the Pinkenbar boat ramp, basically. So no secret spot. There's a little bit of a hard ledge here, same as what Clara Rocks has. There is jewfish here at times, depending on bait and other factors. So I'm just going to hit it on our way through. We're going to do another drift further down. There's another ledge, 2 ledges, sorry, before Clara Rocks. If you have seen the random lure challenge video, you will know that that is a good spot as well. But yeah, they're all just dependent on time of year, bait, and tides, moon, all that sort of stuff. There's a few different factors every time, so you can never always get it right. So we're just going to do what we do best, and that's fish. So at the moment, the other thing we've got to try and work out is positioning. And one thing that would be apparent is that the tide is not overly fast in comparison to the wind and other elements. We've got a wind against tide sort of situation, which isn't always favourable. So yippee. I will do my best, obviously, to explain how we can work with this, but at the same time it's going to be incredibly hard. So just do what we can. We're going to be sitting on the electric quite a fair bit, just trying to control that drift so that we can basically sit straight over the top of the lure. Because this method of fishing, you don't really want to be casting and retrieving all too much. You kind of want to be sitting straight over the top of the lure and having it down there for the maximum amount of time possible. Because obviously, like, you want it in front of the fish's face, so to speak. And at the moment, we have a beautiful drift if we can keep our position side on to the wind / current. Obviously making adjustments here and there just to make sure that we're not too far away from the lure as well, creating too much slack in the line or belly in the line, etc, etc. A lot of boring elements to it as well. You're obviously teabagging, so you know, if you don't like teabagging, you like the old cast and retrieve type technique, this definitely isn't a method for you. That being said too, like, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I like catching fish and it's been a while, so for me, it works great. But it's looking like we may actually have to use our electric into the wind / current, which is interesting. I don't always have to, but it would appear that I will have to today for some reason. I guess the this current's a bit slack. May find too, we'll hit a spot where there's less wind, the current takes over, and obviously factors change, so tactics have to. But at the moment, we're managing to keep that lure somewhat in the zone. It's just basically touching the bottom and coming up that little bit. I've got quite a parabolic rod here, ergo meaning quite soft in the tip. It's only a 1 to 4 kilo Samaki Archer, so I do have to quite whip it a little bit to get that little bit off the bottom, but most of the time your fish are going to be pretty tight to that structure. They're not going to come away from the bottom too much or structure too much to eat a bait. So you don't really want it to be like doing huge massive lifts. Kind of just want nice, gentle, subtle lifts. Remember, the lure's doing a fair bit of the work. That was the bottom. Obviously the zone may not be incredibly productive, so we may have to travel to another one, but at the same time, most of these zones are all pretty close now, all the way through to the mouth of the river, and we'll just pick over them as we make our way down. Hopefully find fish along the way. If not, we might not even see this session go to air. Oh, okay. So I was just starting to mark up some fish there. Now, possibilities that this is a snapper is somewhat high. I'm hoping for a dewy more than a snapper, but we'll see what happens. It does have incredibly snapper-like head shakes though, which is unfortunate. I do also have to remember that I only have 15-pound leader, so there is always that possibility as well of losing the fish. Now, it does look like it could be that sort of target species, but at the same time, I don't always want to speak too soon either. I do have a couple of ships coming, so I'm going to have to try and hurry this along. Yeah, so it is indeed the target species. Shiitake mushrooms! Oh, there we go. Whew. Alright, I will quickly motor us out of the way. Just for fear of being in the way. So we got what we're after. I did mark up a couple of these dewies and stuff on the sounder. There was a little school there. We'll try and go back over our drift line, obviously a little bit further up, come back through them. If we can get another dewy, that'll be great. I'm hoping this guy might be legal, but I think he might be about 700. He might be just shy of the magic legal mark. Just keeping him in the water in case he's obviously not legal, and I want to let him go. Keep that water flush through his gills. And then marking up another school of fish just there, which could possibly be more of the same fish. Hard to say. Let's try and get out of the way as much as we can, just because there's a couple of ships coming through. All the while, fish is in the water, keeping him flushed. He did hit it a lot like a dewy, and then the big head shakes, playing it out like that. It just so happened that's what it was. Alright, we'll get him in, we'll have a look at him. Again, hold him up for the camera, all that sort of stuff. I do love a bit of fresh dewy as well, so that's always a bonus. Healthy and on the steez. Very nice. Alright, let's get him in, hey? Looking beautiful in that sunlight there. Alright, typical dewy fashion, he's come in mega green. I don't know, this guy's fight hard, but not like insanely hard, but not bad at the same time. Let's see if he's legal. If not, we'll pop a tag in him and send him back to the depths, hey? Oh. Okay, so he is right on the money. So 770, basically 770. Perfect size. Obviously legal size is 75. These guys I always allow for shrinkage. 2 centimeters of shrinkage is sweet, because you know you do get one that's 75. Typically they're probably going to be just under by the time you get them back. But this guy, he's going to be sweet. But we'll do a quick hold up for him, of him. Not bad. Bit of tug swell coming through, a bit of wind, a few different things going on, but we've got our fish. He's not massive, 77 centimeters, but a healthy winter specimen. So I'm going to put him out of his misery, get him on ice. Little Steve's doing the damage. Obviously I've put it back in his mouth. Well, how good is that, eh? 15 pound Black Magic FC leader, just held up. It looks like he actually had me in the rocks a bit there. Let's get him on ice. All right, cool. We're back. And a little bit of a clean up and quick retie of the leader. He'd buffed up a little bit. I think he might have hit the bottom maybe once or twice. It is only a 15 pound FC, Black Magic 15 pound fluorocarbon. So it does always pay to keep an eye on your leader, make sure it's not going to get too frayed. And then that's just the Daiwa soft shell stees in a 90mm doing the damage. If I had gone probably maybe a bit harder on him, the trebles might have bent out, but we're pretty lucky the trebles haven't. Obviously having a lighter rod, lighter drag, all of those factors do come into it and obviously have aided / assisted us in not doing so. Lucky to not pull hooks on him though. He was only just lightly pinned and in typical jewfish fashion in the net, in the boat, through hooks, so they always have that last like little thrash when they're in the boat. Obviously too, I pull them in quite green sometimes, even though I've only got 12 pound, 15 pound line. You know, you sort of know after a while how much you can give and what you will get and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to do another drift, pretty much the same drift. If we get another dewy and it's legal, it's going to come home, and then we're on catch and release. We're done. Obviously 2 is the bag limit, so let's give it a go. Hopefully we can come straight across the school again. Hopefully the school hasn't moved too much. Obviously if it has, we're still going to hopefully nail them, maybe. But yeah, as I was saying before, we're just going to keep drifting along. We've found a school of fish. I didn't mark where they were exactly, so I was sort of just going to drift my line again and hopefully come across them. Bit of luck we can pick up another one, but we'll see. And a big thing with dewies is just trying to get the lure in front of their face is more than anything else. But it does look like that school might have moved on after that. Shit. Thought I felt something. Alright. I don't know how big this fish is. It's decent though. I'm gonna guess at another dewy. Was on the drop that it clunked it. Half flipped me bail because my line was across the bail arm. It's actually quite a heavy lump of a fish. Feeling very jewfish-like. However, coming up. Oh yeah, looks like a dewy. It comes up on the side scan. What do we got? Slightly smaller Jew, I think, maybe. I don't mind a slightly smaller one. I prefer him out this side of the boat if I can. Just makes it a bit easier to get at him. I'm just a little bit undergunned on this lighter gear. But at the same time, like, you may not even be getting the bites if you're on that heavier gear, you know. Oh, what this is, I think it's a Jew. Doing lappies. Oh, is that a good tailor? No way, if that's a good tailor. Holy dooly, eh? I think this could actually be a good tailor. If so, not bad, not bad. It is too, eh? It's a decent tailor hooked in the face. Obviously not hooked down deep, because he would have absolutely roasted me. He's bigger tailor too. Oh man, they put up a good fight. Oh, he's not digging the boat. Putting up a harder fight than that 70 centimetre Jew. Mind you, he's probably like a 50 centimetre tailor, so seems fair. He's fighting so dirty, this guy. See if we can get him up high enough. No. Not close. Now, one more lap. It's like doing tuna circles. Yes, mate, I know. Let's tighten up a little bit just to get him. Alright, he's in the boat. Let's get out of old mate's way. Whew. Okay, so not a massive tailor by any stretch, but he is 50 centimetres, so for up the river, not too bad. 50 centimetre tailor on the 15-pound gear. Steve's soft shell hooking him in the side of the face, hence why he's sort of fighting so hard, and also why he didn't bite me off. But very well conditioned, coming home, going in the icebox. But oh man, that was a little bit sketchy there for a moment. I had a big barge coming through and beeping his horn at me. I don't know whether it was because he was like, yeah, cool, this guy's on, or, you know, get out of my way. So obviously had to try and crank him up in the end. Thankfully, obviously didn't bite through the leader. That's sort of how I hooked him. I haven't actually played around with the hooks. So bleed him out, get him on ice, and do another drift. I thought it might have been a Jewy the way he was fighting, but no, it's a good solid tailor. All right, let's go back for another drift, eh? Quick check of all of the terminal tackle. Might just retie that anyway. Better to be paranoid than lose that fish of a lifetime. But we'll see what happens this drift. If we don't pick up another good fish, we'll move on. If we do pick up a good fish, probably still move on actually. We may not make it all the way out to the end of the port, which isn't bad. Blah. Saving fuel. Nothing wrong with saving a bit of fuel. The drag ready. I want the drag a bit tight. Well, not too tight. So basically, we just want a nice steady drag. I'm pulling that relatively tight. I don't want to call it YouTuber drag, but I guess it's kind of YouTuber drag really. It's not overly strong, but that's mainly because of the fact that we're running pretty light leader. So As you've seen, a 50 centimetre tailor and a 77 centimetre dewy, and we're only using light lines, so we're not doing too bad. Once again, doing the constant adjustments for the drift, which can be quite annoying at times. Failing that, you can always sit on spot lock. If you find fish, sit on spot lock, work out where they are on the sounder and try and anticipate whereabouts they are in relation to the boat, and then try and pitch a cast up current of them and allow it to drift back to them, making sure that you've let out enough line. And I'm probably butchering how to do that method, but it does sound like it sounds pretty tricky. Oh. Yep. Gone and gotten another tailor. Get him up and we'll move on. I don't want to keep catching tailor. Bit of luck you'll throw it. He's another good tailor, it's just hooked a bit better. Oh, he's gonna dog me at the edge of the boat. Same deal, he's hit it on his chin, so he's not having to fight me too hard. God, they got some stick, hey, these like 50 centimetre models, and they're just so well conditioned. He's another good size one. We'll hold him up, definitely hold him up. To me, like, I'm not a huge fan of losing lures to tailor. If I lost a lure to a dewy, it'd be like, yep, fair enough. Yep, got the lens, nice. Same deal. There we go. Another tailor on the Steve soft shell. He's another 50 centimetre model, but we're going to keep moving on anyway and see if we can get a few more. But the Eski's looking pretty good. The old man's going to be happy anyway. But let's get this off, get re-rigged. I might go for a bit of a steam down and we'll have another drift. Alright, drifting a pretty familiar spot here. See if we can pick up a fish. What are we hooked? Oh, yeah, nah, not what we want. Not what we want. Sorry, mate. Right, so obviously we're not out here to pick these guys up. It is snapper close season. I would have shown you that already. So back he goes. Pumped him up. No harm, no foul. They love the wriggly bits on these kicker curlies, but eh? Let's keep going. Kicker curly frog doing that damage. I kind of felt like it was going to be a snapper, and I was like, oh no, better not get him in. Sorry, I'm just a bit distracted trying to reset me drift and everything. Funny. But yeah, we don't need snapper at this time of the year. That's the last thing you want. Obviously you're going to get snapper, you can't avoid it, but we're not out here intentionally trying to catch them anyway, so no harm, no foul. Which one? Whew. Thanks for that, eh? That was another snapper. Get him in, get him back. Him falling off is a good outcome. Obviously, it's nice to be able to show you guys at home. Gonna get another battery in the camera. Typical. Right, I think before we lose too much sunlight, we go at the end of the terminals. We'll have a quick scan along, see what we can find. And from there, we'll decide whether to call it quits or not, eh? Alright, last spot for the day. We've got that sweet symphony of cranes in the background. Such a slow drift. Wonder what's going to happen, eh? Down to the depths with you. Oh, that sounds terrible. Better luck it stops soon. Sounds pretty bad. Oh, that's so much better. We got ourselves a snapper. Not that we wanted one. Yep. Didn't want one. Did not want one. Mate, you weren't wanted. Oh, I get you out of the boat quick smart, eh? Alright guys, if we don't get anything, if we don't get another fish between now and the end of the drift, remember that's fishing. 80% luck, 20% skill. I'll see you in the next one. He creamed all over me. We've got like snapper cream. Yuck.